Got him.
All right.
Got him on my Texas rig worm. I made it blue one.
Oh.
Yeah, there we go. Pretty chunky spotted bass right here.
Oh man, look at that. Hey.
Come on around here, buddy. Oh yeah, that's a nice chunk. Nice chunky bass on a blue worm. They like that.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah, they like that color out here. Out here fishing with some friends of mine. Got my first one of the morning on a Texas rig. We're fishing a drop off here. I'm in 15 feet of water and the shoreline's right there. It's just a big drop off. Got him.
Another one, huh?
Yeah, feels pretty strong. Feels pretty strong. He pulled a little drag. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Come here. Here, buddy. He don't want to come in. Yeah, just a lot of confidence in a Texas rig worm. Nice little chunky spotted bass. Yeah, he's short but chunky.
Yep.
Hey everybody, it's Dalton. I want to talk to you today about, I can truly say to you, my favorite technique. I grew up with it. I've said it before on the channel. When I started out in bass fishing, my dad gave me basically a couple of things to use: a spinnerbait and a Texas rig worm. And that is, that's how I learned to fish. And I absolutely love fishing a Texas rig worm. And I kind of got away from it for a little while. And because out here, you don't necessarily need the Texas rig, but there's times that it really helps, particularly if you're dealing with a lot of little chunk rock and stuff like that. Felt a little thump. Another nice spotted bass here. Texas rig worm, it's hard to beat. Oh yeah. Yeah, they're getting hooked really good. You notice here, hook's going all the way through the mouth. And man, it's not very long, but it sure is nice and chunky and fat and going to get a kiss. So what I want to do is I just want to kind of give you guys my setup out here in open water and what I'm doing in fishing Texas rig today. So the rod is a 7-foot medium heavy action. This is a Dobbins Fury rod. I'm using a Lew's reel. It's a 6:8 to 1 gear ratio. The line I'm using is 12-pound test Seagar and Vizix. That's plenty for out here. I typically am either going to use 12-pound test or 15-pound test. I've got a tungsten weight. This is a 3/16 ounce. By the way, this is my favorite weight size when it comes to Texas rigging. Sometimes I can't get away with it, but this is my favorite, 3/16. I have a Palomar knot, and then right here, I do not like to use oversized hooks whenever I'm Texas rigging. I'm going to use the smallest hook that I can get away with. So today I'm using a 2/0. It's a Gamakatsu. It's called a deep throat. It's an extra wide gap hook. And I love these hooks for Texas rigging. This has a light wire, so 12-pound test is plenty good enough. If I'm using a heavier wire hook, then I'll probably jump up to 15-pound test or more. If I'm fishing certain types of cover, I'm probably going to jump up in line. I don't fish a lot of different worms when it comes to a Texas rig. I like fishing a Senko that way, but there we go, another good fighter here. Yeah, oh yeah. Oh, this is a really nice spotted bass right here. Come here, come here, come here. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There we go. Man, it gets them, just sticks them good there. There we go. Well, what a nice fish. This guy will go at least 2, nice and heavy. Get him on these, if I can even grab it. Goodness gracious, I'm clumsy. But yeah, get him on that Texas rig worm right there. Boy, what a difference it makes. Get you some bigger bass, good fighters. I love it. I make a worm here, and you could compare it sort of to a robo worm as far as diameter and size. And I made this worm basically for shaky head, and then also to wacky rig as far as a drop shot. It's a 6-inch finesse worm, and this one here is blue. It's blue on blue. It's a blue colored worm with royal blue flakes. And I absolutely love to fish with blue. And you know, I've said it before, but I'll say it again. When it comes to spotted bass, they're very similar to smallmouth. Bright colors will get their attention. They will bite bright colors. That's why I made this. Now, the way I set it up, really simple if you've never set up a Texas rig. You're just going to come right through the nose up to where it bends. You're going to turn the bait, bring it up to the shoulder, and it's going to look like that, okay? Then you just simply measure it, bend the worm, come up through the middle of the worm, like this. And what that means, guys, if you've never used these types of hooks, is when they bite down, that's what the extra wide gap hook does. It allows that hook to penetrate. And then I just kind of skin hook it a little bit. And then let me get the weight up here so you can kind of see what it looks like. And that's pretty much it right there. It's a real simple technique. And now I'm all tangled up, but you guys are probably used to me doing this. It's a real simple technique, and it's one that I absolutely love to use. Here's the crucial part of a Texas rig. Yes, retrieval, but hook set is the most important part. So when it comes to retrieving a Texas rig worm, you know, there's a lot of techniques in bass fishing. I do a lot of them. There's some of them I don't do. But this one here is just, it's confidence for me. A Texas rig worm is confidence. I can throw it in open water. I can throw it in bushes, around rocks, all kinds of things, and rarely lose a bait or get hung up. And I can get this thing where a lot of the fish are. Now, retrieval is really key. The two things about Texas rigging that I think is the most important thing, and somebody's got some machine going up there, so hopefully that's not disturbing us too much, but I'm going to cast this thing out, okay? And I'm going to let it just go to the bottom. This is a bottom bait. That's where it's most effective. Now you can take a weightless Texas rig, say a Senko, fish it over the top of grass. But here, with the weight on, using the 3/16, I want this thing on the bottom. And there's really just a couple of things I do. One of them is I just twitch my rod and the slack. And the other one is just kind of some old school, you know, worming. Just give it a little pop, let it fall. Give it a little lift. And oh, I missed him. Give it a lift, let it fall. Now, that's a prime example right there of a hook set. I got in too big of a hurry. The thing about a Texas rig, I'm really good with my hook sets on these, but sometimes I get a little excited and I'll miss them because you don't want to do this too fast. A lot of times these bass they'll be on the middle or the end of the bait and they won't be at the hook yet. So it's real crucial. Let me move this around. Hopefully I can get another one to bite and maybe show you. But it's real crucial to give it an extra 2 seconds, reel down on the fish, and then really set that hook, because you got to get that hook through the plastic and through the fish's mouth. And by doing that, you're going to get really good hook sets every time. And I don't think he's going to bite again. I almost had him, and he kind of surprised me. I was getting ready to reel it in, but what I do is when I know there's a fish there, if I feel a thump or that spongy feel where he's got it in his mouth, I just slowly reel down and then I do the home run hook set. That's when you want to do a good strong hook set. Like I say, depending on the size of the plastic, this is a very thin plastic, so this hook's going to get through really easy. And but I'm using 12-pound test, so I want to get a really good hook set on these fish. So just kind of twitch it along the bottom, give it little hops, move it slow, and reel down on the fish, and then bring it back. Give it an extra 2 seconds, and you'll get them about 90 to 100% of the time, just depending. One of the things I do recommend you do if you haven't fished with a Texas rig, and I'll do this with a bait, any bait that I'm not familiar with. When I launch my boat, I will find the shallow part there of the ramp, and it's usually concrete. I'll throw a bait out that I'm not familiar with, particularly a plastic bait, and I will do 3 or 4 retrieves because I want to see what it looks like. And with this particular worm, the way I'm retrieving it, it almost mimics a shaky head. So I know exactly what this worm is doing every single thing I do with it, and it's real important to know what your bait's doing in the water. So if you're newer to bass fishing, and I know a lot of you are, I've talked to you, really learn how to fish with a Texas rig. Try to make yourself the best expert at it you possibly can, because I promise you, you can fish this anywhere. Don't worry about open water. I have caught them out here in open water so many times with a Texas rig, they simply do not care. I don't know what it looks like to them. I don't know if it looks like a worm or a salamander, or I don't know what it looks like. But for whatever reason, they absolutely love the thing. So Texas rig fishing is just the best way to go. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I appreciate you all. I'm going to have me a little lunch right now, just kind of banked up here. It's a real nice day out here today. It's supposed to be 91, but that's not till later in the afternoon. By noon, it's maybe going to be in the 80s. It's just a beautiful day. I thank you all so much. If you haven't subscribed, I appreciate it if you would, and I'll talk to you next time.